All right, we're live. It's Prop the Mic, PTM, coming to you with the simulcast for the final Week 18 of the NFL regular season. As always, today's podcast is presented by Props.Cash. We 100% could not do what we do without Props.Cash. So if you think you're ready to level up your prop betting game, use code PTM at sign up to get 25% off your first month. Today, we have a special guest, NFL betting specialist Lucas, a.k.a. Spider2Y Banana on X. So make sure to give him a follow if you're not already. Lucas, welcome to the pod. We both really enjoy your work on X, so we're super excited to have you on today. What's going on, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for I'm a big fan of you guys. I know you guys are catching on NBA, and it's my favorite week of the season to bet NFL. We got a handful of props and some great games tomorrow. So thanks, Tom and Dave, for having me on the pod today.
Yeah, our pleasure. And like I said to you in the pre-show, you're the best dressed guy that we've ever had on the
Yeah.
show. So
Shop at the same place.
Lucas and I are shopping
Got
at the
some
Props.Cash store.
swag.
So
Feeling left out.
yeah, Tom, you got to get your gear on. So
I know.
All right, you guys ready to dive in? We got a lot of games this week. It's almost a blessing that the books are, as you said in your post on X, the books are being cautious and not putting out all the props, because we would probably have a 3-hour long podcast. But
Yep.
we're gonna we're gonna skip some of the games that there's not a lot out for, and we'll just dive into the ones that we're feeling the most. Let's get into it. So let's start. We got 2 games today on the Saturday slate. We got the Steelers at the Ravens. Ravens were getting 3 points at home, obviously with Lamar out today. 34.5 was the total. Lucas, we're going to start with you. Give us your best pick for this one.
Well, one of the props that I wish we had, Tyler Huntley rushing yards. I hope we get those before game time. But I have 2 Steelers props, and they are correlated. I have Mason Rudolph under 29.5 pass attempts. I think that might have moved to 28.5, and I still like it there. And Najee Harris over 15.5 rushing attempts. So we got some backups in for Baltimore. We got pretty ugly weather day. Looked like we're gonna get snow earlier in the week, but I think it's just gonna be rain and wind. But 2 correlated props there. But hoping we get
Nice.
some Ravens props. So we get some Melvin Gordon props or Laquan Treadwell. That'd be a little sprinkle for me. The anytime touchdown props got nuked for that game. I was a little late for those.
Tell me a little bit more about the Mason Rudolph play. So you like, what was it, under 28.5
I got
pass attempts?
29.5, but still 28.5. Yeah, on FanDuel.
Yeah, let's see what oh yeah, we got it here. Yeah, 28.5 on
I still like
FanDuel.
it
It's
at
come
28.
down. Yeah, it's come down to 27.5 on DraftKings. So it's definitely moving pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, last 2 games, 27 and 24. This does feel like a game where both teams are going to run the ball quite a bit. Is that kind of your thought as well?
Yeah, definitely with the weather and the backups and totally. I think it's down to 34.5, but just an ugly Saturday football game. Can't imagine they're gonna put the hands into Mason Rudolph's hands. I think Najee and Jalen Harris, and I like it for Najee rushing attempts at 15.5. You can still get 15.5, but a little bit juiced.
Yes,
Najee.
talk to me a little bit about Najee and Warren. That's always a tough call every week.
Yeah, that's a tough call, and I've guessed wrong a couple times. But if you want to switch to Najee rushing attempts.
What about the yards? So you got Najee at 61.5 and Warren at, I believe, 41.5.
Yeah.
Which of those do you like better if you were to choose one?
Yards, but this week I'm going with attempts just because of the weather and the volume. I think if you switch to rushing attempts.
Yeah.
Yeah, 19 and 27 the last 2 weeks. If you had to pick one, I would have to pick Najee. I've picked wrong a couple of times. I know they kind of are 1A and 1B, but I think Najee is pretty clearly the lead guy now that this is a must-win situation for Pittsburgh. But opting for attempts instead of yards because Baltimore does still have a great defense, even though we're not quite sure who's playing on Baltimore's defense today. But expecting an 18 carry for 60-something yards for Najee.
Yeah,
the most efficient day, but I definitely think he gets the volume today.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, according to Props.cash, Baltimore has only given up the the third least rushing attempts. But I think some of that is the fact that they're in a winning position in most of these games, and they're obviously the underdog today without Lamar and a few other starters on the offensive side. So I think that will lead to a closer game. I think that'll lead to a lot of running. So I think Najee over 15 and a half rush attempts is a pretty good play, especially coming off of a 19 and 27 attempt week last week and the week before.
Of course,
All
Jalen's a
right.
good play too, but you got to pick one.
Yeah.
I'm going with Najee.
All right. Perfect. Tom, I know you had a play in this game. Anything else that you
I'm
like in
gonna
this
be
one?
I'm gonna be a little contrarian today. I think you're gonna find that across the board here. I kind of like, I think those spots where everyone thinks like this team's got nothing to play for, this team's got everything to play for to make the playoffs, and then like, you know, it's Sunday night and you're like, wait, how did this team lose? I feel like that always happens. So I'm kind of looking at some contrarian spots here. I do love the Tyler Huntley rush yards. I was also waiting for that to drop, but I was kind of I wanted to get a play in on him. So I'm going with his past yards, 158 and a half, super low line, minus 115 on DK. I just think the Steelers being 4-point favorites in Baltimore in bad weather with Mason Rudolph at quarterback is just I don't see why they should be favored that much. I think Baltimore can only sit, excuse me, so many guys. There's not, there's only so many guys on the roster. They can't sit everybody, right?
Yeah.
The Ravens are weird in this way too. I think they had some preseason win streak, like 28 game preseason win streak that they actually cared about, right? So like they're
They
not just
did.
going to throw this game away. Like they hate the Steelers. They want to win this game. OBJ has all these incentives to cash on. He's going to want to make them happen. So that's going to require Huntley to pass him the ball. When the Ravens played Pittsburgh on October 8th, Lamar had 236 passing yards. Lamar cleared this line in every single game but one. He had 157 yards against Arizona. So obviously, I'm comparing Lamar to Tyler Huntley, but it's the
Right.
type of offense that Baltimore is going to run. So I'm going Tyler Huntley over 158 and a half passing yards.
Snoop
Wow.
Huntley, Pro Bowl Snoop.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. I think one of the most bets in this game is actually Pickens over 46 and a half receiving yards because he's had a pretty good connection with Mason Rudolph. I'm personally laying off of that just because we think the game script is going to be run heavy. Just two other notes. This is incentive week in the NFL, so we got Clowney. He gets one sack today. He gets $750,000, but I don't see that prop out. So if that prop does become available, and we get confirmation that he's playing, that might be a good play. And then on the defensive side for the Steelers, TJ Watt, you can get his sack over half a sack on FanDuel for minus 200. So obviously juicy, but maybe a good leg of a parlay. And he's had a sack, I think, in 4 or 5 straight games against Baltimore. So just feels like in an important game for the Steelers, Watt is definitely going to get a sack today. So any comments on that, guys?
Yeah, I think I like that. I don't know what I'd put it with in this game, but yeah, that seems like some free money there. But find something else to put it with.
All right.
Usually stay away from defensive props, but that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Sprinkle on that.
We played one kicker prop this whole season, and it did not cash. So we've laid off of the special teams and defense mostly, but
Yeah,
every
kicker
once in
props
a
not my
while
thing.
you find some value there that's worth.
You can find
playing.
value.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We got a night game as well tonight. We got Texans at the Colts, also an important game for both teams. Stroud is playing, Minshew's playing, and Colts are getting 1.5 at home. When I pulled the line, 47.5. So is the total. So much more scoring expected in this game. Lucas, what do you like in this one?
Yeah, I got 2 plays for this one. The line moved against me. Jonathan Taylor over 17.5 rushing attempts. Usually I again go for the yards, but I'm going with the attempts because Houston's been top 5 run defense this year, and I don't like it as much as I did 2 days ago because I was figuring Zach Moss might not play, but Zach Moss is playing, so the line moved down just a little bit to like 68.5 rushing yards and 16.5 attempts. But again, this is essentially an elimination game for the Colts, and I think they put the ball in the hands of their best players. Had 18 and was it 22 attempts since he came back in the last 2 games from injury.
Yeah, 18 and 21.
18 and
And
21 last 2 games, and
yeah, prior to that, it was 18, 23, 15, 18, 21. So really 4 out of the last 5 weeks. I think at 16.5, you're getting really good value.
I did not get good value on this one. Usually I do, but this one went against me.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, right? I think more often than not, when you lock these in on Thursday or Friday, you definitely get an edge. Occasionally, the line moves in the wrong direction, and you're standing there hoping that that you didn't get in trouble by cashing in early, or locking in early. But I still think you're pretty good at 18.5 or wherever you got it.
And I got a small sprinkle on John Mechie III anytime touchdown. Got Noah Brown out for that game, and John Mechie's seen a little increase in usage, and he got the Ed Block Courage Award this week, so I think he's got a little incentive to get in the end zone for the first time this week. I think the NFL will be very happy to see John Mechie III in the end zone.
Oh wow,
that would be
plus
cool.
650. I think he got nuked a little bit.
Is he?
I originally saw him at plus 210 on FanDuel, and I thought that's kind of weird. He doesn't have any touchdowns, and I got a plus 650 on him. Not sure the best price is right now, but
Yeah,
with Noah Brown out, he's going to see a good increase in usage, I think. Plus 290 might be worth a little bit of a sprinkle.
Yeah, that's interesting. What
Especially
about
CJ Stroud airs it out today?
What about Jonathan Taylor? Anytime touchdown. While we're on that, I saw that at minus 154 on Caesars was the best value. So obviously you're paying juice for that, but kind of feels like he's destined to get in the end zone today. What do you think?
Yeah, minus 145. It's not a bad price at all. He scored in 5 straight games, and you can go straight with the attempts. I think they just put the ball in the hands of their best player pretty simply. And I don't know if he catches his yards, but I think he has a very good chance to catch the attempts against Houston's great run defense. I have to imagine he gets a few goal line looks, so I do like him to score. You might have to find a juice drainer leg, maybe TJ Watt sack. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Juice there.
There you go.
Juice drainer. I never heard that term. I like that.
Little juice drainer. Find a juice drainer leg.
I like that too.
Maybe you want to pair him with the yards, but 50 plus
Yeah.
yards and a touchdown. I don't know if that would be playable or not.
I like that. I think definitely 2 legs on Taylor in this game seems smart. So, you got anything else on this one, Lucas?
Not for this game.
All right, Tom. What do you like here?
All right, I love CJ in this game. 261.5 passing yards, minus 115 on DK. I just think Houston, playing in the dome against the terrible Colts defense, who have not played really any good quarterbacks like this entire year. Aiden O'Connell just had a career game basically against this Colts defense. Taylor Heineke, Jake Browning, Will Levis, Derek Carr put up 38 points on them. Ryan Tannehill had a good game against them. In his second career game this season, he had 384 passing yards against Indy. I'm going to CJ here. I love this play.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that one, right? What'd you get at 261? I think this is probably playable all the way up to 270 plus 275 even. What do you think?
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I think it's I think that's nice, and I'm seeing it here. 266 is like the highest we're seeing it right now. So you think that's going to have some upward pressure? I think people are going to be on CJ.
I think so in this game.
I got a correlated play to go with this one too. I want to throw at you guys. So Dalton Schultz has a incentive here. He needs 4 receptions for a $250,000 bonus. But his reception line's at 4.5. So I actually like his receiving yards, 44.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on DK. Tank Dell's out. Colts have allowed 4.5 receptions per game to tight ends over the last 7 weeks. When Schultz has had 3 receptions in a game, he's cleared this. He's cleared 44.5 receiving yards in 6 straight games. If you want to slide that filter up, Dave, not targets, just receptions.
3 receptions, right?
3 receptions. He needs 4 to cash. Let's look at 3. He's done it in 6 straight. So nice correlated play there with CJ. I like both of these today. Might even put them together.
Yeah. What do you think,
SGP
Lucas?
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have to put an SGP for that game. That could be a offensive fireworks game.
Yeah.
Schultz,
Yeah.
CJ, maybe Michael Pittman or Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I think Schultz also, I think he gets an extra $250K if he gets the 6 receptions. So he's got $500,000 on the line, which I think is plenty of incentive. So I could see easily him getting, obviously that's not the primary focus. They got to win this game, but he's been a pretty big part of their success this season. If you just look with 6 targets this season, he's also cleared this in 5 out of 6 games. And in those games, let's see what his receptions were. He had 4+ receptions in 5 out of those 6 games as well. So I think Schultz is a great play in this game, especially given the matchup against the Colts and the extra incentives and the just the importance of this game for the Texans. So lots of good opportunities with that one.
Nice.
All right. I'm gonna actually start with on the Sunday slate. I'm gonna start with the Eagles Giants because I know I'm gonna forget it because I have them out of order. So let's start with your team, Lucas. I know you said you shy away from playing the Eagles. So what do you got on the Giants side in this game? The Giants are getting 5.5 points at home. Totals
I try not to
41.
bet Eagles games. The Eagles have hurt my heart plenty of times this season against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
A couple
I mean,
big plays on that. I can't bet Eagles games, but got a few for the Giants this week. Got
Okay, let's hear
Tyrod
it.
Taylor over 197.5 passing yards.
There we go. I'm on
Former
that
Virginia
too.
Tech quarterback. If he doesn't catch
Yeah.
this week, I won't bet him next week. It's all right. He won't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
The Eagles' pass defense have been recently, and Darius Slay is out. I think that Giants don't have anything to lose. Why not air it out? And I have a couple correlated props. Jalen Hyatt over 19.5 receiving yards. I think he's got a pretty good connection with Tyrod Taylor, but if you look at his receiving yards, doesn't look the best on PropStatCash. He's had a handful of plays called back for holding or offensive penalties, but I think he gets a long ball this week. And I started out my season betting him. Week 1, I forget, they played Dallas week 1, and I played Jalen Hyatt over receiving yards and anytime touchdown. And I think he had a chance on a long ball, but he didn't cash either of those. But plus 700 anytime touchdown. I started my season betting on
Wow.
Jalen Hyatt. I'm going to go ahead and if he doesn't cash
Full
this week, I
circle.
won't bet him next week. It's all right. And then
Yeah, I mean, I like the snap count, right? 5, 6
he's
weeks
getting the
ago,
snaps. So I think he gets the targets. Big play threat with Tyrod Taylor. I think Tyrod's definitely not afraid to throw downfield like Daniel Jones is, but maybe we can cash both on the same play. They're correlated there.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it looks like DraftKings has this at 20.5. If he gets 4+ targets, he's cleared this in 4 out of 5 games. And the one game where he didn't clear it, he got hooked, or he had 19, so he missed it by 2 yards. So it sounds like
Not
a
my
good
favorite
play.
play of the week, but definitely got to sprinkle a unit on that.
Yeah, and
And the last one,
just looking at Taylor, just commenting on that real quick. Taylor really his arm looked great last week. I mean, he was airing the ball out. So I think he's always been a fairly confident quarterback. He's obviously, this isn't his first rodeo, so he's not one of these rookies that are out there just trying to prove themselves. He knows where he's at in his career, and he's got, like you said, very little to lose. So I could definitely see him airing the ball out. So I like that a lot against a very questionable Eagles secondary.
Virginia Tech quarterbacks, that's how they are. Virginia Tech guys. And they got Sterling Shepard at plus 1,200 anytime touchdown. Unfortunately, Kenny nuked that one. That one was like plus 2,200, but very small sprinkle on Sterling Shepard. Longtime
Very
NFL
nice.
veteran. It seems like this might be his last game in the NFL. I think he's got a good chance
Interesting.
to catch a little garbage time touchdown and go out with a touchdown in his career.
That would
Sterling
be
Shepard
cool.
plus 1,200.
That's tough,
Love
man.
that.
You got a lot of anytime touchdowns going against your
Yeah,
team.
I got a few long shots this week. I think week 18 is the week to throw a few bucks on some of these long shot touchdown odds. If you don't cash, then don't bet them next week.
Yeah, exactly. Right, because those teams
They're banned for next week.
are on vacation,
They're
most of them.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, you got anything in this one?
I had Tyrod Taylor passing yards as well. I just thought his 3 full games he played this season, 200, 279, 319. I think Philly's going to see that Dallas is beating Washington early in this game. They're going to pull some starters. They're going to be resting some guys. It's going to be Marcus Mariota time. And, that the defense is some defensive starters out. Secondary already a little suspect. So I like Taylor here to get those 200 passing yards.
All right, very good. Let's move on to the Bucks Panthers. I don't think we have a lot in this game, but Panthers are getting 4.5 at home. Total's 36.5. Panthers are obviously playing for nothing. The Bucks are still playing for something. So they are. There's only one incentive play that I saw in this game. It was Levante David to get 1 sack. He gets 150K. So didn't see a prop out for that yet, but certainly if that comes out, that could be a good play against a fairly weak offensive line for Carolina. You guys have anything in this one?
Like Rachaad White in this game, just about any Rachaad White props. I ended up on over 18.5 rushing attempts.
All right.
He's 85 yards for 1,000 this season, and you could see one of his tweets on Twitter. He's a little upset he wasn't even an alternate this year for the Pro Bowl. I think he has a decent chance for that. He might end up getting into the Pro Bowl because so many guys end up opting out, but over 18.5 rushing attempts, Carolina's been definitely one of the worst rushing defenses this year. I like him for an anytime touch, yards and attempts, but I think volume is the way to go. I think he gets the over 18.5 rushing attempts. I think he can get 21, 22, and maybe catch the attempts before the yards. I'm not sure. Usually I go for the yards, but this week I think must-win game for the Buccaneers, and Baker Mayfield's been a little banged up. He's got rib injury, but he'll play. I think they lean on Rachaad White quite a bit this week. And he's got the history a few weeks ago against Carolina.
Yeah, 20 exactly. Attempts. 20 attempts in that game, and Aaron Jones just put up 21. Etienne put up 16 on a line of 14.5. So definitely the way to go. And we've talked about it on this show a couple times, but you also got to look the secondary for Carolina is pretty good. Like not pretty good, really good. And I think that's going to lead to a run heavy approach for the Bucks tomorrow. So I think that's those two things work really well together. I could definitely see a heavy dose of running. So yards, attempts, anytime touchdown, those all seem really good for White in this game.
Well, you can go wrong with any of those.
Yeah, let me ask you guys about on the passing side. Baker Mayfield, you just said he's banged up. We just said that he's likely to be handing the ball off quite a bit. 226.5 passing yards. It looks like a home run to play the over when you look at his last 3 games, 381, 283, and 309. But on Props.Cash, you can scroll down here and you can look at opposing quarterbacks against Carolina, which is what I was just talking about. That's a whole lot of red, right? So, yep. That is, I can't even count that. That's probably 15 straight quarterbacks that haven't, or 14 out of 15 quarterbacks that haven't cleared against Carolina. So what do you guys think? You think Baker under 226.5 passing yards is a good play in this one?
Yeah, I like it. I got a sneaking suspicion that Carolina might win this game. I don't mind a plus 200 Carolina money line here, a little sprinkle on that. But yeah, I like the fade on Baker. He looked like garbage last week. He's banged up. So that's my take.
He looked like garbage, but he threw 309 yards. That's impressive. But yeah, I mean, look at this. Like nobody is throwing more than, you had Tua threw for 262 and Goff for 236. But other than that, Geno for 296. But nobody's really getting to the 230 mark against Carolina, especially in the last 2 months. So I agree. I think Baker is in a tough spot, and they're going to be running a lot. So let's play under 226.5 passing yards for Baker. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about the Vikings Lions. Mullins and Goff quarterback in there. Lions are -3. Totals 45.5 in this one. Lucas, what do you like in this game?
It's a very popular play. Justin Jefferson over receiving yards. I got it at 86.5. I think it's up in the mid 90s right now, and it's one of those plays. I'm not sure if the number matters because he needs 118 yards for 1,000 receiving yards this season. That was a goal he set for himself when he returned from injury after I guess before the Vegas game. He got injured in that Vegas game, but ended up coming back for the Bengals game. And
Right.
it's got Nick Mullins throwing the ball. If Jaron Hall was playing, I wouldn't play the Justin Jefferson receiving yards. Jaron Hall didn't look the best last week, but you got Nick Mullins. I think he's got a 260.5 or something passing yard line. So he's going to be slinging the ball. I think indoors with Justin Jefferson, he knows how many yards he needs. I think he gets to 118.5. You can play the 110 plus, 120 plus, any of those alt lines. I think Jefferson's a smash play this week. I think it's a good play to score this week. And the season with a bang, he doesn't have anything. The Vikings don't have anything to play for this week, but I think Jefferson's one of those guys that definitely cares a little bit more about stats and accolades and maybe some plays and maybe that diva wide receiver in him. I think he gets to 1,000 receiving yards this week. So that's my favorite play for this week. Justin Jefferson over receiving yards. Honestly, any number you can get probably is, I think, is a play.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
over
Mullins
100.
just. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Anything under 100 yards maybe. But Nick
Okay, I
Mullins
was
throwing
gonna
the ball.
He just had 400 something yards right against Detroit a couple weeks ago. Right.
Speaking of
Yeah,
backup
let's-
quarterbacks, I'm afraid to sling the ball. You got Nick Mullins in there.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Nick Mullins is not a rookie,
411.
right? He's like
He's been around for a few years.
Yeah, he's played enough games. He knows the only way he's going to position himself for another contract is to actually go out
Throw
there
the
and
ball to
produce.
Jefferson.
Exactly. So
With the best receiver in the league, do something.
you guys got Tom? You got anything in this game?
I do. So I like Jared Goff here, passing yards over 208.5. Big variance here. You can see him. I take and bet MGM out, but points bet it's as high as 215. FanDuel 208.
Wow.
I must have been at some point 232 because that's what it's showing at BetMGM. But here's why I like this. So Detroit plays in the early slate, right? Dallas and Philly play in the late slate. If Detroit wins and Dallas and Philly lose, Detroit moves up to the 2 seed and gets home field advantage. I think that's huge and important for them because Goff and the Lions in general are like much better at home. So I think they're going to be looking to win this game and then see what happens in the late slate. I think Minnesota just looked done last week. Jaron Hall with postseason hopes on the line. They played Jaron Hall in prime time. I think they're done. I think I could see Jefferson getting there, but I think they're kind of just gonna lay down in this one. At this line, this is obviously a low line for Goff, but at this line, he's cleared in 15 of 16. There you go, 15 of 16 games this season. And just look at the last 3 weeks against Minnesota. Jordan Love, 256 yards. Goff had 257. Jake Browning, 324. I think they can. I think Goff can do some damage here and try to do his best to get that home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean this feels ridiculously low. What are we missing here?
Confusingly low. What are we missing?
Yeah, is this a trap or
Seems
are we
25 yards too low at least? I don't know.
Yeah, seems like really good value. But like you said, Tom, shopping around, if you push this all the way up to 212 on DraftKings, that you don't get as quite high of a hit rate. It's still really good. But yeah, I think they have all the motivation in the world. And like you said, the games that they're relying to find out about are all afternoon slate games.
Yeah.
So they're going to be playing.
They got to do their job first. Yeah.
They got to do their job. So
Yeah,
so hopefully this game and it's a 3-point game too. So it's not really projected to be a blowout where he could be sitting in the fourth quarter. So I think it's great find there, Tom. Nicely done.
Thanks.
All right, you guys got anything else? Lucas, anything else in this game?
Not for this game.
All right, let's skip on down to the Seahawks, Cardinals. Geno and Murray going up against each other. Cardinals are getting 3 at home. Total is 47.5. Incentive wise, Geno gets $2 million. I think that's one of the biggest incentives on the board if the Seahawks make the playoffs. So certainly, as if he needed more incentive to win. That's a pretty big monetary one behind him tomorrow. So Lucas, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, this might be my favorite game of the week for props. I think this is gold mine for props, and you got the Seahawks who definitely want to win this game, and the Cardinals that theoretically would be much better off losing this game on purpose. If they were smart, they might lose this game on purpose. But I actually do have a couple Cardinals props. I got Greg Dortch over receiving yards. I played rec ball with Greg. I've cashed on his props plenty of times past couple seasons. I got to go back to him one last time.
Wow.
So got
Nice.
Hollywood Brown out. He's got a nice increase in usage the last couple weeks, 45 and 82 receiving yards against my Eagles. I bet him last week. He did just a little bit too much against the Eagles. He had in that game-winning drive that the Cardinals GM, I don't know if he was too excited that the Cardinals won that game because theoretically they would want to lose these games.
Yes.
So we got Greg Dortch over. You can get 34.5 receiving yards. I do like that a lot. Definitely one of my favorite plays of the week, and not just because I played rec football with Greg Dortch, but I think anything in the mid-30s is a great play for Greg.
All right. What else you got?
And I got James Conner over rushing yards.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Which
That's
kind
my
of
play.
negates the Seahawks money line. I do love the Seahawks to win, but I think James Conner to get. He needs 110 yards for 1,000 on the season. I'm not sure if he quite gets to 110 yards, but you can look at how bad Seattle's been against the run the last few weeks. Let up a lot of 100-yard rushing performances, and I think James Conner can get I played over 69.5. I think he can get close to 110. Maybe you want to sprinkle a little bit on 110 if you care about incentives like that for 1,000-yard rushing season. Yeah, 122 yards to Najee Harris, 145 to McCaffrey.
Exactly.
Swift and Gainwell had great games. Henry and Tyjae Spears. So
yeah,
I think
that looks
James
like
Conner's got quite a bit of incentives to run all over the Seahawks defense.
Yeah, it looks like 10 probably like 10 straight running backs have cleared.
A lot
against,
of green on that one.
Exactly. Good find. I think actually all three of us, it sounds like we're on Connor. So it's just about like what's the best line you can get. Currently the best value out there is FanDuel at 68.5, which I think is great value compared to the other books. So lock that one in before it goes up to 70 plus. Anything else in this one, Lucas?
I do like Kenneth Walker a lot, but I haven't decided how I'm going to play Kenneth Walker yet. Definitely one of my favorite touchdown scorers this week, but not sure if you guys like Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, Tom, were you on Walker?
No, I wasn't. I just had another play on the Arizona side. I think I know you did say Arizona should want to lose this game. I also think their head coach is coming back this year, next season. I think for them, this is their Super Bowl this week. They can upset, they could beat Seattle and keep them out of the playoffs. I think they're gonna want to try to do that. So I'm actually liking Arizona here. My other play was on Kyler. I like his rushing yards as well, 27.5. Hurts and Dak both cleared their lines recently. A little further back, Lamar cleared his. And even most recently, Ryan Tannehill crossed his rushing yard line against Seattle as well. So I think you could run on them. Their defense has just been terrible. They're last in first down defense, 30th against the rush. You can just run all day on them, and I think Arizona will.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are atrocious at stopping the run. So I had Connor. I didn't have Murray, but I think that's also a good play. I think if you're going to play Kenneth Walker, take him at 50 yards because that seems to be his magic number, especially of late. And maybe just tack that on to any of these other guys. You could do Connor for 60 and Walker for 50. I think you'll probably get a plus money out of that. I think that's really nice in this game. Both, like I said, both these teams are horrendous at stopping the run. They're going to be handing the ball off quite a bit. So good. Love those plays. I think there's a lot of opportunity to make some money in this one, and Seattle's got tons of motivation to win this one, even though Tom thinks the Cardinals might sneak a win here.
They also need, I think they also need
close.
the Packers to lose to make the playoffs too. So they need some help as well.
Yeah, that's a tough one, especially with that game in Green Bay. Let's move to that game. We got Bears and Packers. Both starting quarterbacks are playing, Fields and Love. Maybe Fields' last game as a Bear. Maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I could see him staying around. I don't know. They've been playing pretty well to finish up this season. So I don't know. It's a very interesting position to be in, though. I can't remember somebody, a team with such a interesting, in such an interesting position heading into a draft like this.
I'm not sure what the right answer is for the Bears right now.
Yeah.
Trade Fields or keep him. But I did play Justin Fields in this game. I actually do like Chicago on the money line. I think Chicago's playing like a top 10 team right now. Their defense has been outstanding. I've underestimated their defense, but their defense is playing lights out. I think that Justin Fields is playing with supreme confidence right now. I got him at over 260.5 passing and rushing yards. I couldn't decide if I like rushing or passing, so hopefully he can get the combined line and actually missed the best number on that. But Justin Fields, since he came back from injury, he's been balling out. I think he's over that in 5 out of 6 games since he 5 out of 6 since he came back from injury, and he's playing with all the confidence in the world. I think that he wants to be the guy in Chicago. I don't know if Chicago agrees with that right now, but I think he comes out and upsets the Packers, keeps Green Bay out of the playoffs, and puts up another great performance.
Yeah, I mean, what do they say about airplanes? What do you remember? You remember the takeoff and the landing, right? So we'll see how Justin Fields lands the plane tomorrow. I think he's definitely going to be looking to upset and send Green Bay packing. So, Tom, I think you were also on this play, right? Justin Fields passing.
I was. Yeah, I had a 263.5. It was minus 114 on FanDuel. I just think Green Bay's defense, despite Justin Fields has been playing well, but Green Bay's defense has not been good. I was going to say Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito had like his career game against Green Bay. He had his second highest quarterback rating of the season, 113.9. He had 158 passing yards. He was 17 for 21, 71 rush yards on 10 carries against Green Bay. And then you got Bryce Young, who's not been great either, had the highest QB rating of his career 2 weeks ago against Green Bay at 110, threw for 312 passing yards, 17 rush yards. I think this Green Bay defense can be had big time, and I think Justin Fields is going to do it. Love his pass and rush attempts together. Could be my favorite play.
Yeah, sounds like a really good one, especially since both of you guys were on it. I was leaning towards Fields rushing yards, but I do like, he seems to have a really good connection with Moore of late. He can bomb a 50-60 yarder to him, especially against this Green Bay secondary. I think I think this is a good play to kind of hedge and get the pass and the rush together. So we'll take that at 265.5 even there. So anything else in this game that you guys got?
Yeah, I do. So this has been a play we've been on all season long, and I feel it's only right that we bet it in week 18 again. Jordan Love pass attempts, 34.5, minus 120 on DK. He's gone over in 5 of his last 8 games. Since October 22nd, quarterbacks against Chicago, 7 of 10 since October 22nd have cleared their pass attempt lines against Chicago. 2 of the 3 misses were 35 pass attempt hooks by Jared Goff. And the other one also was pretty close to a hook as well. I forget who it was. So you're almost looking at 10 straight quarterbacks clearing their pass attempt line. And like I mentioned, 2 of them were 35 ones from Jared Goff. So I feel like it's only right. I got to get this, got to keep it going with Jordan Love here. This is something we've been on all season. Let's stick with it.
What do you think, Lucas?
Yeah, I like that a lot. Chicago's quietly one of those great run defenses.
Yeah, where'd you get this at? 34 and
a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Let's look at that split at home too. Yeah, look at that home. 6 out of 7 at home. So that's really nice. All right, cool. I think
live betting spot if you get a little buy low spot at halftime. I know you guys did that earlier in the season with Jordan Love passing yards.
Now we know you've been listening to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first 10 weeks of the season, we were talking about Jordan Love second half props. He seems to be performing a lot better in the first half, so we got off that train. But certainly, if he's struggling in the first half, he definitely performs in the second. So
Check that at
um,
halftime.
yeah, good bet at halftime. All right, so let's move to the Cowboys Commanders.
Just want to,
Obviously,
before you do that, I just want to give a quick shout out. Breezy's on here. She said, "What's up, fellas?" Just a nice shout out to our girl Breezy. And somebody else on X asked, any props for the games today, guys? So you must have joined in a little bit late. Yeah, once we wrap up, you can watch the pod. The first few minutes were spent on today's game, so you can check those out. Sorry, Dave.
I think Breezy joined because Lucas is on and he's an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
I think she wanted to hear this pro Eagles takes, but
I don't have any Eagles props, but go Birds.
Go Birds. There you go. This should take care of the Giants this week. All right. Speaking of Eagles and teams that they don't like, Cowboys and Commanders. Lucas, what do you got in that game?
It's been my biggest cash cow the entire season, CeeDee Lamb. I took him over 89.5 receiving yards. I think it's quite like Giannis the other night. So many people played his under, and the theory over betting his over was, well, he can get 40 if he wants to. I think CeeDee Lamb could get close to 200 receiving yards if he wants to against this Washington defense. Might be the worst defense in the league right now. And then we talk about the Cowboys can win the division if they beat the 3-13 Commanders or 4-12 Commanders. We got the Commanders that have quite a bit of incentive to lose to get a top 3 pick, maybe top 2. So I think CeeDee Lamb, he had 227 last week. I think he could get very close to 200 receiving yards if he plays all 4 quarters. I played him at over 89.5. I think he's mid-90s, but I think anything under 100 is also good for CeeDee Lamb. He's been my biggest cash cow, so I have to go back to him one last time. And of course, anytime touchdown, that's quite juice, but he's been scoring. Well, there you go. CeeDee Lamb minus 150, definitely my favorite anytime touchdown scores. I have to put him in a parlay with Rachaad White and a couple other guys. But yeah, Washington, probably the worst defense in the entire league. There's green all over the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember,
I think CeeDee Lamb gets the stat pad a little bit. CeeDee Lamb got the Dallas Cowboys team receiving record, and I think he gets the stat pad a little bit, even if it's a garbage time. I think that Cowboys kind of know what's going on, and that gets them to 150, 175 receiving yards, maybe, if he stays in the game for 4 quarters.
Yeah, the Washington secondary is atrocious. If you remember that Washington Chicago Thursday night football game where we were on DJ Moore that game, and they were just gambling like crazy trying to get interceptions and just giving up 50, 60-yard bombs. That could easily happen in this game. I think Lamb, they played on Thanksgiving, right? And Lamb had a touchdown in that game, but he was kept in check in terms of receiving yards. So that would be the only thing
that would maybe hamstring injury or something. So he was a little kept in check there.
Oh yeah, did he?
It wasn't quite 100% for that game.
Got it. So he played, but wasn't.
Still ended up scoring. He's been scoring every game.
Yeah. So it does seem if you're going to put him for 100 yards, you might as well tack on an anytime touchdown because he's probably going to catch a 50-yarder for a touchdown in this game. So I like that. I think he's a smart play.
A little bit.
Yeah, of course. Anything else in this one?
Not for this game.
Nope.
All right, let's wrap it up with the Sunday night game. I know we still have a little bit more analysis to do on this, so definitely keep your eye on X because we'll put out some posts before this game kicks off. But we got Bills at Dolphins. Dolphins getting 2.5 at home. Total's 48.5. So this should be an electric game. The teams are playing for the division. I think this will be, as Lucas said before the show, this will be the best game of the week. Maybe not the best game to bet of the week. But Lucas, what did you like in this one?
I don't have any bets for this game. I kind of want to enjoy this game as a fan. I might have a live betting spot in this game, but I like Josh Allen anytime touchdown. He's currently tied with Jalen Hurts for the most rushing touchdowns for a quarterback at 15. I think he's got a great chance to tie or break that record if Jalen scores again.
Yeah. And it looks like he had an anytime touchdown against Miami. I think the Bills figured out, what was it, like 6-7 weeks ago, like this experiment of not letting Josh Allen run the ball is a real good way of not making the playoffs. So once they changed strategy, they kind of let him run the ball again. He's been tremendous on the goal line and just really changed the whole dynamic of that team. So I think that's
His
probably
attempts
our
are a little
one.
bit higher.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. I
I
think
think it's a
against
good live betting spot is rushing attempts. But it was just maybe an attempt or two too high. Yeah, 8.5.
yeah, 8.5.
You might be able
But
to
if
get
it,
a 7.5 live or better number live.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we could just look in the last 5 weeks. His attempts in the first half. There's some games where he doesn't even get an attempt in the first half. Looks like he puts up 3 in the second half. A lot of games. So definitely at the end of the first quarter, if he's got no attempts, that line should come down to 7.5, 6.5. I think that's a great live betting spot. So we'll be looking out for that. And like I said, we'll be active on X tomorrow. Get a few more picks out for that game.
Yes, sir. I think that does it, huh?
Got a
Yeah.
few more players I'm waiting for props for. Hopefully we get some tonight or tomorrow.
Nice.
We
Well,
talk
I
Zamir
think
White
that
if we can get Zamir White, and I got a few other players here on the list. I don't even want to say some of their names because we might not get props for them.
Yeah, don't get our hopes up. And I think we gave out enough for people to digest. But
Yeah.
but definitely keep an eye out for Lucas. He's got some great analysis up on X, and I think I'm sure you'll be doing some more write-ups before the games kick off.
Yeah, but thanks for joining. It was awesome having you today. Great insights. So we hope to have you back. Maybe NFL playoffs. I could see getting you back on the show here. That would be fun. So everyone, get those bets in. Let's hope for a nice, successful, fun week 18, and let's all make some money.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Take care.